In this video, I'll show you how to create a fine art portrait with a festive feel. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. And today in my small home studio, I'm going to shoot a fine art portrait with a bit of a festive feel. In my mind, I can see this big star in the middle of the screen with lots of small stars above it and a model looking up at the stars. The only problem is, this is the only star I've got, so this has got to do a lot of work and there will be a bit of post-processing involved. So let's start by taking a picture of this. Now, to make the post-processing a lot easier, I'm going to go with a black background. So let's just pop this up like that. And then I need to light the star. Now, I could use absolutely any sort of lighting for this. I'm going to go with the specular LEDs, but anything will work because all I need is a nice flat image of the star. Now, if you're going to use LED lighting and aperture priority mode, just make sure you adjust your exposure compensation, probably -2 in my case, to make sure that black background is genuinely deep, perfect black. My second star photo needs a bit of logical thinking because there's going to be a bright star in the middle lighting the ones along the top. So I need to light this star as if it was lit from something below and in the center. So that means getting my light source and getting it lower down. So I have light coming up from underneath, something like that. But obviously it needs to go for the camera position, so let's bring that around. All I need to do with this is just give it a little spin, just a gentle spin, and as it comes around to me and squares up to me, then I can hit the shutter and get my shot. So now I've got my 2 star photos, I can create my background in Photoshop. And I'll do that before the model gets here, so I can show her the background and hopefully she'll understand the direction we're going in. Now the good news is you don't have to do any of this Photoshop work yourself because I've turned this into a template and you can download it for free. You'll find the link in the description below. So now we get to the fun part of the shoot, and to help me out today I've got the amazing Lauren. Lauren's going to be the model for this, and as you can see she's sat underneath the light. Now Lauren's seen the background, she understands the idea behind this, and what we've got is an eVOLV 200 and it's got a small diffusing dome on it. Now the diffusing dome does a couple of things. It smooths the light, gives a lot more even light, and it mimics the light from the star in the background. You could do this with just the bare bulb, but it's much more comfy for the model to have a slightly bigger light source like the diffusing dome to look at. Now the whole thing is on a boom arm, and if you're going to use a boom arm you need to take safety into account. So I've got a sandbag at the bottom, a sandbag at the end, and that should mean it's nice and balanced so it doesn't sort of suddenly drop down if I undo it. Safety is always prime, and I don't want that dropping on Lauren's head. So that's the basic idea. I've already meted this out for f4. Let's take a shot like this and see how it looks. Okay, Lauren, here we go. Now if Lauren looks towards me, it doesn't really work. Because we only have one light in this shot, it's from above and it's not going to light Lauren's face unless she looks towards the light. So Lauren, can you look towards the light for me? And when she does, that works really well. Now the light falling on Lauren is the same as the light on the background that we're going to use later. Now at the moment, the eVOLV 200 is right up against the background, and although that works, it is quite shadowy on Lauren's face, at least on the side that I can see from the camera position. Now to get around that, I'm just going to move the light ever so slightly further away from the background, and that should put a little bit more light on the side of Lauren that I can actually see. And that works really well. I'm really happy how this is looking, but there's one last thing we can do just to refine the position that Lauren looks at. So if I ask Lauren to look towards the light, it can be quite uncomfortable. I'm actually going to ask her to look just slightly past the light, which is a little bit more comfy for the model's point of view. So Lauren, if you can just look over here, just behind the light. Let's take that shot and see what happens. Now when Lauren does that and I go in close looking at her eye, I can see that the eye is really white, and that is not the look I want. If I ask Lauren just to look in front and the other side of the light, I can actually see her eye in the shot, and that looks way better. So when I'm asking Lauren to look around, I'm always going to ask her to look just in front of the light here. So that's the basic setup. I think we're ready to take some pictures. So Lauren, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's do the shoot. You may have noticed that Lauren was against a grey background. That's actually really important. It doesn't matter whether it's a paper or fabric grey background, the grey will make the post-processing a lot more effective. Let's have a little look. So here's the picture of Lauren I want to add into the background. I'm just going to go to Select and All, Edit and Copy, and then jump over to the background template. I've already downloaded it and opened it in Photoshop, and you'll notice there's a whole bunch of layers. The one I'm interested in right now is the one that's called Your Photo Here, because that's where your photo goes. Notice it's highlighted. If it isn't, then just make sure you click on the area next to Your Photo Here so it does become highlighted. To add Lauren in, up to Edit, down to Paste, and that will pop her in exactly the right place, but clearly she's not the right size. So I need to resize this because this template is made for an A4 sheet of paper size. I need to make it smaller. I'm going to go to Edit and Free Transform or Control-T, Command-T on a Mac, and I can just shrink Lauren down by dragging in a corner handle. If you've got a different version of Photoshop to me, you may have to hold Shift as you go, otherwise Lauren might become a bit of a weird shape, but I reckon that's probably about right. Click on the tick to commit to that change. Now I could have done with a bigger grey background. I don't have one, so I'm going to stretch my background out. I'm going to get the rectangular marquee and just select everything above Lauren's head, being careful not to include her head, and then use Edit, Free Transform, or Command-T, Control-T. I'll use that from now on. Again, I have to hold Shift this time, so I didn't hold it last time. This time I do. That's the joy of Photoshop. Try holding Shift if your image does something weird. Okay, let's do the sides as well using Control-T, holding Shift, dragging out. It's more important that the sides go right to the edges than the top, to be honest with you, so I'll stretch those right out, and again, hold the Shift key, and out we go. Okay, there we go. Now, Control-D, Command-D to get rid of the selection. I nearly forgot about that. So the next thing to do is a bit of layer work. Trust me, there was dozens and dozens of layers to make this template. I've simplified it as much as I can, but there is still a little bit of layer work to do. And the thing I need to do is to go up to Layer and then come down to Layer Mask and Hide All. Now this seems really weird because when you click on it, all of that work disappears. And what we get is a black rectangle next to the layer. That's a layer mask. And I can bring Lauren back in just a few areas by getting the paintbrush tool, making sure my brush color is white, the opposite to black. And with a big brush, and also a very, very zero hardness brush, soft brush, I can just click and paint and bring Lauren back through. And I end up with that nice vignetted look as well. Now you could stop here, but I designed the template to be customizable. So there are a few things you can change. For example, you can turn my background texture off. That's actually the texture from my studio wall. You can click on the warm tone and lose that, or change the opacity and have it much stronger depending on your taste. You can have a cool tone and do the same thing, or you can click on the top layer and change the washed out effect. You can turn it off, you can double click it and change the bottom section here to have a more washed out effect. Whatever you'd like to do, you can customize this and create your very own festive fine art portrait. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave me a comment below, and of course click on that subscribe button. If you want to get notifications of all the new videos right here on Adorama TV, click on the bell icon. I'm Gavin Hoey, thanks for watching.